These are 8 top stocks in after hours with big percentage gains today. Our review on RSLS. ReShape Lifesciences Inc. is a company focused on weight loss and metabolic health, offering a full portfolio of tools designed to treat obesity and related conditions. Their flagship is the Lap-Band system, which provides a less invasive, long-term alternative to more aggressive surgeries like gastric bypass. They've also got some next-gen tech in the pipeline like the investigational diabetes block stim system, using vagus nerve stimulation, and the Obalon balloon, a swallowable, gas-filled device aimed at helping patients lose weight without surgery. Overall, they've carved out a niche by blending innovation with less invasive approaches to weight management. After hours, ReShape's stock absolutely lit up, jumping 89% following a fresh press release that dropped some pretty big news. The company announced it's teaming up with Motion Informatics, a health tech company out of Haifa, Israel, to exclusively bring their neuromuscular rehab devices to the U.S. market. The star product is the Stimul 03, a next-gen AI-driven rehabilitation device that was just showcased at the Big Occupational Therapy Expo in Philly earlier this month. This move feels like a pretty smart expansion. ReShape has already built its brand around improving health through technology, and this new partnership puts them right at the intersection of AI, rehabilitation, and clinical innovation. It doesn't stray too far from their mission, just broadens the lane a bit into neurorehab, which has been gaining a lot of attention. Investors clearly like the idea, with the stock seeing a massive breakout after hours. It's one of those moments where the market sees a company evolving into something bigger, and while the move is still early, that kind of price action suggests traders think it's a meaningful step forward. If ReShape can integrate this new tech and make inroads into clinical settings, it could mark a fresh chapter for the business. Our review on HYFM. Hydrofarm Holdings Group Incorporated makes and distributes gear for indoor farming, lighting, climate control, nutrients, you name it. Their stuff supports everything from veggies to cannabis, and they've got a strong lineup of in-house brands like Roots Organics and Photobio. Now, the stock just ripped 48% after hours, with a 35% breakout surge toward the end of the session. No big news yet, so this could be traders jumping on technicals or maybe early whispers of something bigger. Either way, the volume and timing suggest a real shift in sentiment, worth watching closely to see if this move sticks or fades. Our review on BLIV. BeLive Holdings, based out of Singapore, is stepping onto the big stage with a fresh Nasdaq listing, and they're doing it in style. The company is all about live commerce and shoppable short videos, which is a space that's been gaining serious traction, especially in Asia. They've built out a pretty sleek tech stack with 2 core offerings: an enterprise-grade white-label solution tailored for companies that want a full custom integration into their existing platforms, and a lighter SaaS option that's super easy to plug in with just a few lines of code. That flexibility makes their live video and interactive shopping features accessible to a wide range of platforms, whether it's mobile apps, websites, or even social media simulcasting. Now onto the big headline. BeLive just closed a $10 million IPO, pricing 2.45 million shares at $4 a pop. They're trading under the ticker BLIV, and as soon as the market got wind of it, the price action exploded. Shares surged over 70% right at the open of after-hours trading, showing some real heat from momentum traders and IPO watchers. That rally built on an already strong move from the regular session. But since then, we've seen it pull back a bit, now hovering up around 33% in after-hours as some traders start to take profits or reassess the early euphoria. This kind of price action isn't unusual for a hot IPO, especially in a tech-forward niche like livestream shopping. There's definitely interest in BeLive's angle. Integrating live video with e-commerce is a space that's been growing like crazy in other markets, and BeLive is clearly trying to position itself as a key player for both consumer-facing and business-facing solutions. That said, with a breakout this big followed by some fading, the sentiment feels a little mixed, bullish excitement, but also a touch of caution. Traders are watching closely to see if BeLive can hold its gains and how quickly it can start deploying that fresh capital into product expansion, AI upgrades, and marketing as planned. A solid debut with a little volatility baked in, but one worth keeping on the radar if live commerce continues to pick up steam globally. Our review on WHLR. WHLR Real Estate Investment Trust Incorporated is one of those niche REIT plays that flies under the radar until, well, something shakes loose like what we just saw after hours. The company's bread and butter is grocery-anchored retail centers, mostly across the Mid-Atlantic, Southeast, and Northeast. We're talking about 75 properties total, with 72 being fully operational shopping centers and 3 parcels still waiting to be developed. They tend to lean into necessity-based retail, think supermarkets and value chains, so even in a shaky economy, there's a bit of built-in foot traffic and stability there. Now fast forward to today's after-hours session, and the stock just lit up with a 30% move. Yeah, that's a serious spike. But what's catching more attention is the way it moved. Very wide swings, lots of chop, definitely not your average slow and steady REIT grind. That kind of volatility is usually a sign that something's bubbling beneath the surface. Could be speculation around a potential deal, portfolio sale, maybe just momentum traders trying to juice a low-float name. There's no press release or headline that sparked it yet, so sentiment right now is more cautious curiosity than full-blown bullish. People are watching closely, trying to figure out whether this is a blip or the start of a bigger move. When a relatively quiet RE suddenly rips like this, it's rarely for no reason. So even though there's no confirmation yet, the tape is telling us something's getting priced in, or at least anticipated. Bottom line, big move, big questions, and all eyes are on what comes next. If there's news around the corner or this is part of a larger positioning shift, we'll likely see more volume and price action to follow. But for now, it's one to keep on the radar, especially if this volatility sticks around. Our review on NXPL. NextPlat Corp, a global player blending e-commerce and healthcare under one roof, just had one of those quietly bullish after-hours moves that deserves a closer look. For context, the company operates across a pretty unique spectrum. On one hand, it's helping businesses beef up their online sales channels, and on the other, it's deep into healthcare services like telepharmacy, prescription management, and long-term care meds. Oh, and they've also got a piece of the pie in satellite services, covering everything from voice and data to IoT connectivity. It's a diverse mix, but that's kind of their edge. So here's what got the stock moving. NextPlat's subsidiary, Global Telesat Communications, just landed a fresh contract with a central UK government department to supply Iridium push-to-talk satellite devices and ongoing airtime. This is the first deal with this level of government over there, which is a pretty significant foot in the door. These PTT devices are designed for secure, reliable comms. Think field teams that need solid satellite coverage regardless of terrain or signal. Initial shipments are expected in Q2, and the company made a point to mention that tariffs won't affect these products, which is a subtle but smart flex. The market clearly liked what it heard. Shares were up 27% after hours, and even more notable was the 35% breakout right at the open of after-hours trading. This wasn't just a slow drift upward, there was real momentum behind it. Buyers came in hot, and the stock has been riding that trend since, showing strong continuation with some real legs behind the move. It's not just about the headline, though, it's about the signal. Government contracts often open doors to more deals, especially in the defense or public infrastructure space, and for a company like NextPlat that's straddling tech, healthcare, and satellite communications, this kind of validation can create serious downstream opportunity. Definitely one to keep on the radar as we move into earnings season and the second quarter kicks off. Our review on PCSA. Processa Pharmaceuticals Incorporated, a clinical-stage biotech focused on next-gen cancer therapies, is making a little noise in after-hours trading, up about 18% with some wide spreads and a bit of a cautious tone floating around the action. Now, just to give some context, Processa's pipeline is all about improving the effectiveness and safety of existing cancer treatments. They're developing small molecule therapies designed to be more targeted and tolerable. Think of drugs like capecitabine, gemcitabine, and irinotecan, but optimized. They're also pushing forward two non-oncology assets, one aimed at diabetic gastroparesis and another targeting various complex conditions. So it's a mix of oncology focus with a couple of side bets in other high-need areas. Tonight's price action feels like it's being driven by quiet speculation, maybe traders sniffing out something ahead of a catalyst or reacting to some subtle shift in volume or technical levels. But what stands out here is the mood. There's enthusiasm, but it's measured. The wide spreads are telling us that market makers are staying cautious, and retail or smaller institutional players may be stepping in lightly rather than with conviction. No fresh press release or big trial result is out just yet, which makes this move feel more like one of those early buzz moments where the smart money might be positioning for something. Whether it's technical setup or whispers about pipeline updates, the movement is there, but it's not explosive just yet. Definitely a name to keep an eye on if you're tracking low-float biotechs with upcoming trial potential or surprise news risk. Our review on KIDZ. Battery Future Acquisition Corporation, the blank check company with big ambitions to make moves in the electrification sector, saw a little uptick in its stock after hours, up about 17%, though the volume was on the lighter side. So, what's the deal? Well, it's a little bit of a waiting game with Battery Future. They haven't yet locked down a merger target, but the buzz around clean energy, raw materials for batteries, and anything related to the green shift keeps these SPACs in the news. Today's uptick is a bit of a head-scratcher since no big announcement came from the company itself. The stock could be getting some momentum from the broader shift toward electrification, with investors speculating that Battery Future is getting closer to identifying its target in this booming industry. While the company has not made any definitive moves yet, just the thought of an electrification play, especially one tied to the growing battery market, is enough to stir up interest. With no operations and no revenue just yet, it's all about future potential, and investors seem to be taking a calculated bet on that. Still, it's important to keep in mind that the road to a solid merger announcement could take time, and SPACs are notorious for wild swings based on speculation. So while the 17% bump is exciting, it's also a reminder of the speculative nature of these kinds of plays. Investors should stay tuned for updates, but with some caution as SPACs like Battery Future can be volatile, especially with light volumes. Our review on AGMH. AGM Group Holdings Inc, involved in tech hardware and fintech blockchain, saw its stock jump 17% after hours, following a 15% drop during the day. The mixed price action signals some uncertainty. AGM's business spans Forex trading solutions, MetaTrader 5 services, and blockchain, all of which are growing sectors. However, the stock's volatility suggests investors are cautious. While the after-hours surge could indicate optimism, it's unclear if this momentum will last. For now, AGM's future depends on its ability to execute well across its diverse offerings and prove its value in a competitive market. Please subscribe, give the video a like, and watch more from our playlist. Thanks.